Morning, everyone. Welcome to the September 4th, 2025 Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting. If any member of the audience wishes to speak to an item on the agenda, there are speaker request forms to the left of the dais. Please fill out the request with the agenda number of the item you wish to speak to and hand it to the secretary seated on that side. At this time, we would also like to ask that if any member of the audience has a cell phone or other electronic device, that you either turn it off or turn the ringer to silent. If you need to take a call, please step out to the hallway so the meeting is not disrupted. Public hearing on item number 1, the approval of the July 24th, 2025 Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting minutes is hereby opened. All right. Karen made the motion to approve those minutes. Vince seconded the motion. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2. Vicki?
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
the applicant has withdrawn this application.
Oh.
So we would ask that you acknowledge the withdrawal.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Haven made the motion to acknowledge the withdrawal of item number 2, and Vince seconded that motion. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. That was the only action item, or the only 2 action items on the agenda. I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to.
All right. Vince made the motion to adjourn. Karen seconded. All those in favor of adjournment of Zoning Board of Adjustment, please say aye.
Aye.
We will now commence the Rapid City Planning Commission meeting for September 4th, 2025. Again, if any member of the audience wishes to speak to an item on the Planning Commission agenda, grab a speaker request form from the table along the left wall and hand it to the staff seated on that side. And in the 45 seconds that I spent on Zoning Board of Adjustment, if you haven't turned your cell phone off, now's the time. Items 1 through 8 have been placed on the consent calendar and may be approved as a group today. Action will be taken on all consent items in accordance with staff's recommendation by a single vote. Any item may be removed from the consent calendar by any planning commissioner, staff member, or audience member for separate consideration at this time. The findings of this planning commission are recommendations to the city council. The city council will make the final decision with the exception of the following item. Item 7, 25 UR 027. The Rapid City Planning Commission action on this item is final unless any party appeals that decision to the Rapid City Council. All appeals must be submitted in writing to the Department of Community Development by close of business on the 7th full calendar day following action by the Planning Commission. Are there any items 1 through 8 that staff would like removed from the consent calendar for separate consideration?
No, thank you.
All right. Any items that any planning commissioner would like removed from the consent for separate consideration? All right. Item 3. And then are there any items from the consent calendar that any audience member would like removed for separate consideration at this time? The chair would then entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar, items 1 through 8, in accordance with staff's recommendation, with the exception of item 3.
Motion to approve items 1 through 8 with the exception of item 3 in accordance with the staff stipulations.
Thank you, Vince. Is there a second to Vince's motion?
Second.
Mike Kwasny. All right, the motion is to approve items 1 through 8 with the exception of item 3 in accordance with staff's recommendation. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, Haven, maybe if I can you request, sorry.
Thank you. This item kind of confused me, and I think obviously something should be done on this lot, but I was a little confused as apparently the staff directed the applicant who wanted to do this because he wanted to transfer the property. This action isn't required to transfer the property. I guess I thought it would be good for a little discussion. Apparently there's now portions of 5 lots in this lot. So I guess I'm confused about if it's platted into one, then we've got 2 dwellings on one lot, but then there's some requirement that they subdivide it before certain things happen. So overall, I think this is probably a good idea to do something, but I was just a little confused about the process.
Mr. Chair, this is a legal non-conforming property as a whole. And you're right, it is the east 50 feet of 5 different lots. And years ago, that's how they subdivided property. So that legal is transferable today. However, they were put on notice of that they do not have to plat it in order to sell these properties. But they wanted to. They wanted to clean it up. I'm sure a bank may have trouble financing this. This is a very unique situation. And so knowing that you can only have one single-family structure per parcel of land, we acknowledge that they're going to need various variances before they can actually final plat it. And I would assume when they bring those variances forward to the Zoning Board of Adjustment, we will support them, and in most instances such as this, the Zoning Board of Adjustment grants them because it's a pre-existing condition. But by taking these 5 lots and making them into 2, they're still not going to meet the minimum lot size for either of the 2 lots. They're not going to meet all of the setback and lot coverage requirements. But with the variance, it will then make them legal non-conforming again. So we'll work with them on that, and then they will have 2 separate lots, and that probably will add more value when they go to sell these properties.
So the way I understand the application before us this morning is to plat this into one lot.
2 lots.
2
We are
lots.
asking that the very first stipulation says that they need to revise the plat to create 2 lots, putting 1 home on each lot.
Okay, but thank you. I think that kind of clarifies a few questions in my mind.
Good point.
All right. Anything else from the commission on item 3? Okay. Mike Gallagher made the motion to approve with the 3 stipulations. And Vince seconded that motion.
Yes.
Any discussion on the motion to approve? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Motion carries. So we're at item number 9.
Good morning, Chair, Planning Commission. Item number 9 before you is 25 UR 028. This is a major amendment to a conditional use permit to allow an electronic reader board sign. We are at property located at 206 East Boulevard North. This property is zoned general commercial district. Future land use of this property is mixed use commercial. And access to this property is actually off of East St. Charles Street, but it is directly adjacent to East Boulevard, which is classified as a principal arterial street on the city's major street plan. On January 18, 1993, the City Council approved a conditional use permit on this property to allow the car wash that currently exists. So there is a car wash with, I believe, 6 self-service bays and an automatic tunnel wash. And there are also some storage units, 2 storage unit facilities on the east side of this property, as you can see in this depiction. One of the stipulations of that conditional use permit required an amendment for significant changes in the use or impacts on adjacent land uses. What they are proposing to do here, there is currently not a pole sign structure on this property. All of the signage on this property is currently wall signs. What they are proposing to do is to install a 2-sided electronic reader board sign on this property in that southeast corner. You can see it highlighted in this depiction. That proposed sign will measure 9 feet, 8 inches by 6 feet, so approximately 58 square feet in size. The display area is going to be orientated so that the display faces north-south, so you'll see it coming down East Boulevard North. And it will be on a monopole with 14 feet of ground clearance and an overall height of 20 feet. And it is going to feature changing electronic messaging and advertising that is related to the car wash. There are some stipulations of signs like this within the code that this one will be required to meet. There are some maximum intensity of lighting requirements that they do have to stay within. They are also required to equip this with automatic dimming technology that changes with the ambient lighting. So when it's darker outside, it gets darker. When it's brighter outside, it gets brighter. It will have to be shielded or directed or somehow screened to not adversely impact the surrounding properties or safe vision for pedestrians or traveling motorists on these roadways. In addition, this sign must not incorporate any scrolling or flashing messaging. It must only have static messaging on it, changing at an interval no more than 8 seconds. So it can't change any quicker than every 8 seconds. So this gives you an idea of what they are proposing. This is similar to the signs that they have at the other car washes in town. I believe this is their third location here in town. So this one is similar in nature to those other ones. Staff did look at this. It does meet the requirements of an on-premise sign as defined in the code. And it does appear to be an appropriate request for the use on the property and for the surrounding area adjacent to that principal arterial street. And so ultimately, staff is recommending approval of this. Here you can see the wall signs as this property exists today. They do have their notification sign posted right here on the property. This is also the approximate location where that sign will be located, so here in this grassy area. This is a little bit closer view of where that will be. This is East Boulevard North looking north, and East Boulevard North looking south. And then this is East Chicago Street looking east. So you would not see the face of the sign directly when you're traveling on this street. You would just see it directly on East Boulevard North. So ultimately, staff is recommending approval of this major amendment to the conditional use permit with the stipulations outlined in the staff report, including the acknowledgement of any of the previous stipulations of the original conditional use permit that are still applicable. I'll stand for any questions, and the applicant is here as well.
Thank you. We do have a speaker request from the applicant, but it said for questions only. So if any commissioners have anything for the applicant, just identify that. Seeing no questions, I just had one. The size of the sign, is that within the current city code? I mean, it's identified in the stipulations, but I didn't see that it was an exception.
An LED sign cannot exceed 60 square feet in size, and this is within that.
Okay, thank you. Haven?
Thank you. Just a couple of questions. We've got two things before us this morning. One, we approve a sign, and then we approve then we increase the size of the sign. I guess my procedural question is, why wouldn't that be done on one application?
2 different locations.
Same car wash, 2 different locations.
Oh,
One's on Campbell Street. This one's on East North Street.
oh, okay, yep. That, sorry about that. I missed that little bit. So, I did have one other question now. It escapes me after you pointed out my error there.
That's okay. I thought the same thing when the staff brought them to me. So,
It's a testament for good branding.
yes. Todd's a busy guy.
Consistency.
And yeah, the other question that I had was, this is an on-premises sign, so advertising from other businesses is not allowed. Is that correct?
Correct.
Strictly, this particular location is the only thing that can be on the sign. Thank you.
Correct.
And one of the things that we've started specifically stipulating is no scrolling or flashing. as we drive around the city, we do have a lot of approved LED signs. And it seems like they start out complying, and then pretty soon you see the fireworks over the 4th of July trying to grab the public's attention, or there'll be a scrolling message. That is not permitted. So we've started adding those as specific stipulations, and that just helps us when we need to enforce that.
Gotcha. Anything else from the commission on this one?
Move approval with the stipulations.
All right. Karen made the motion to approve item 9 with the stipulations listed. Mike Gallagher seconded that motion. Any discussion on the motion to approve? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10.
Item number 10 before you is 25 PD 025. This is a major amendment to a plan development overlay to increase the size of an existing electronic reader board sign. So we are now at property located at 1501 Campbell Street. This property is also zoned general commercial district. Future land use is mixed use commercial. And this property takes access off of Campbell Street, which is classified as a principal arterial street on the city's major street plan. So this plan development overlay was originally approved in 1995, and then in 2010, the Planning Commission approved a major amendment to revise the sign package, and that allowed an electronic reader board sign on the property not to exceed 3 feet 9 inches by 7 feet 9.5 inches. So there is an existing pole sign located on this property up here in the northeast corner, as you can see on this site plan. This sign currently has this electronic reader board down on the bottom of it. So there is a regular on-premise sign up here. This does not feature any sort of changing messaging, and then the bottom part is the electronic reader board part of it. Currently, as it exists today, that electronic reader board is about 32 square feet. However, it has aged, and it's my understanding that parts for this are no longer available to make repairs. So what they are proposing to do is replace that sign, and in doing so, increase the size slightly. The new sign will measure 5 feet 4 inches by 7 feet 6 inches, or approximately 40.5 square feet. So that will increase the size of the sign from the existing one by about 8.5 square feet. This is currently orientated to face north-south, so you see the messaging traveling north and south on Campbell Street. This will remain on a monopole with 10 feet of ground clearance and an overall height of 25 feet 4 inches. And again, it will still feature the changing electronic messaging and advertising that's related to the car wash. So we went through the sign code with this one as well. It does meet all of those stipulations. Of the sign code, it is within that 60 square foot maximum. Again, this one will also have to have that automatic dimming technology and cannot adversely impact the roadway or traveling pedestrians. So again, must only incorporate static messaging, changing no more than every 8 seconds. And again, no scrolling or flashing messaging. So here you can see a little bit clearer how this one exists today, and then how that little bit bigger sign will look. So really it's just extending the size of it upwards, not downwards, so it'll maintain that same ground clearance that it has right now. So this is an actual today picture of the existing sign. That top portion of the sign, I do want to point out, is also not at this point in time changing. This is the car wash as it exists today. This one has 5 self-service bays and also that tunnel wash. These storage units that are on this location are a little bit different than the last location because they are actually on a separate parcel. They were platted off separately. So this is just the car wash. This is Campbell Street looking north and Campbell Street looking south. And there you can see that they did post their notification as required. So again, this will remain a two-sided digital sign as it is today. So staff is ultimately recommending approval with the stipulations noted in the staff report, again incorporating any of the stipulations from the previously approved major amendment or original plan development that are still applicable to this property. And I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. Anything from the commission on this one? Karen?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have a question. There is no, or is there no requirement on the size of the total 2 signs for one pole? Is there anything that says you can't have anything over so many square feet or?
The size of the sign is capped, and then the square footage for pole signs, they just get added in together. And of course, it's the linear footage that the property abuts right-of-way times 2, and they fall within that parameter.
Okay, that's what
Yeah.
I want. Thank
It's a
you.
good question.
All right, anything else from the commission?
Second.
All right. Mike Gallagher made the motion to approve with stipulations. Vince seconded that motion. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
just a quick comment.
Mr. Ossenfort?
Tanner was incredible. He was Johnny on the spot, any questions I had, so I just wanted to, everybody's always so quick to point out when something bad happens, but it's not in our nature to point out when things happen fantastically, so give Tanner a attaboy and tell him Todd said he did a great job this morning, so.
He's sitting in the back row.
There he is, all right. Tanner, you're the man.
So this is
Thank
how
you
it
for
kind of
that.
happens sometimes, guys. Our planners work with the public at the counter, but when the applications come in, they may not always get distributed to that planner based on workload. So Todd's had to work with Tanner and gotten to know Cassie as well. But yeah, we think we'll keep Tanner around a while.
Appreciate the positivity. So that's the end of the posted agenda items today. Anything from staff on this?
Yes,
All
we
right.
are having our final open house on the comprehensive plan update. It's being held at the Doll from 4 to 6, and we do have the draft version of the comp plan. All of you were emailed that version. Today is the opportunity to come, and there are 8 chapters with the goals and action steps laid out for each chapter. And we're really wanting to see that final, where does the public think we should really put emphasis on how we take action on these goals? And so there's a kind of a fun little ranking game that we've got that we want people to participate in. So if you're not doing anything, sometime between 4 and 6, nothing formal, just stop by, participate, help us out. We'd love to see you.
All right. Haven?
What is the format for that? Is it, are you 8 different tables with each with a section of the?
Exactly. So there'll be 8 stations, and if you've ever gone to one of our open houses at the Doll, they've got such a great setup for us. I just love that facility. We'll have boards up on easels, and each chapter will be a separate station, and then everyone gets a little packet when they walk in and instructions that you pick your top 3 goals that you want us to achieve in this specific area. Let's just take as an example, education. And then there are multiple actions that are incorporated within the comp plan, but what's the top 3 actions that you think will have the most impact? So that'll help us just prioritize where we put our energy and money when we're moving forward to meet the goals of the comp plan as it's laid out. It's fun. We hope you can stop by. There's nothing formal. Staff will be there. We'll be stationed at each one of the stations to assist and answer questions.
All right. Encourage everyone to get there
Yep.
if you can.
A good time shall be had by all.
That's right. Anything else from the commission or staff today? Okay, Karen made the motion to adjourn. Vince seconded that motion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. I thought about cutting you off, but